with another video. This is called 3 True Tinder Horror Stories Animated by IMR Scary Tales. And this one I'm actually pretty excited for because dating apps and like all these Tinder horror stories are obviously, they have a lot of stories, you know? So you gotta be careful. And personally, I have a dating app too. I'm not gonna say what it is. It's not Tinder though, but I have a dating app too. And I have not met one person from it, although I have met some nice friends, but I have not met anybody from it. Like even the friends I have now that I've talked to for like we have streaks on Snapchat, like 3 months, have not met them once. Again, mainly because of COVID, and either they're not close enough or they could obviously come, but like mainly COVID is the issue. So with COVID, I don't really want to meet anybody. And of course, since it is like a dating app or like a hookup app, of course I get the odd messages, you know, saying do this, do that, and I'm like, oh, I'm good, you know. So this is basically this. Like I could probably relate to this, not specifically to the app, but specifically to the dating app thing, because I have that too. I'm not dating anybody, I'm single obviously, but yeah, this one should probably relate to me or give me a little bit of a heads up. If I was going to meet anybody, this will probably make me think twice. Of course, there's common sense rules. Don't meet in the middle of the night. I mean, that's probably what you do in a dating app for like hookups and all that, but usually don't meet in the middle of the night. Meet in a public place so you know that they're real first of all. Make sure they're safe, make sure they're normal, make sure they are who they say they are, make sure if they say they're a girl, make sure it's a girl. You know what I mean? Just like ensure some stuff first, you know? Anyway, it's about 23 minutes long. There's 3 stories, and of course it's animated, which is going to make it even better. I'm hyped. I hope you guys are too. Let's go. This really ought to be good. Tinder Horror Story 1.
Around March of 2014, I started talking to this girl on Tinder.
Okay.
She seemed cool and fun.
Seemed.
After about a week of talking,
close your curtains.
She suggested we meet up in person. She invited me to this coffee shop.
Okay, that's good.
And I accepted.
That's good. It's a public place. That's
However,
fine.
the day of, she started messaging me, saying she had something to tell me.
What?
Her pictures on Tinder weren't actually of her. And yes,
see what I mean?
She was a guy.
See? There it is.
He claimed that he really liked talking to me though, and begged me to still meet up with him. Naturally, I declined. I blocked his profile and just continued on with my life.
And that's where the story begins, probably.
Later, I started talking to another girl.
Is it a girl?
Once again, she seemed cool and fun, and we
hit it
off right away.
Call, like, right away to make sure it's a girl.
She asked me if I spoke to other people on Tinder frequently, and rather stupidly, I told her about my previous encounter with the man lady. Weeks later, I would realize that this new girl was the same
guy
girl as the week before.
Close your curtain.
She asked me if I wanted to meet up, and I said sure, as long as it was in a public place. We decided on a cafe, and the next day I sat at the table waiting.
Make it? That's such a sus area.
Then 10, then 15 minutes
they never showed up.
And she was nowhere to be found.
She.
I then peered out of the window.
And it's a guy?
Saw from across the street.
It's a guy?
A man staring.
Yeah, there it is. And he's sus too.
I looked away, waited a few seconds, and looked back.
That's the girl.
But he was still just standing there.
And he looks not happy at all. He's pissed.
At that point, I left the cafe, got on my bike.
Hurry. Speed out of there. Booked it out of there. Yes. Make sure he doesn't follow you.
Freaked out.
Make sure he doesn't follow you.
I myself together and reasoned that no one could have followed me.
Okay.
Then I deleted my Tinder profile.
There you go.
And things were normal for a few weeks. About 3 weeks later, I started getting these
Close those curtains. What the frig, man?
The numbers always showed up as unknown.
Don't answer it.
I picked up the first few times to some guy breathing heavily into the phone.
After the first time, that's when you block that number.
I was already a little freaked out.
Close your curtains. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Picking up any call unless it displayed the caller's name.
There you go.
Then, I started receiving texts. At first, they were all pretty harmless. Calls for attention, begging me to meet them in person.
Oh my god.
Then, it changed to very sexual texts.
Oh lord.
Until eventually the messages became threatening, and whoever was messaging me started throwing out my family and friends' names and their whereabouts.
Oh my god.
Saying he or she would get them involved.
Oh my god.
Because they were texting me, I could see a displayed number. But when I called phone providers, they told me the number couldn't be traced, and that it was likely a track phone. Great. I waited about 2 weeks, not responding to the text, thinking I shouldn't feed the troll. But eventually, it just became too much.
Mm.
I started getting upwards of 50 texts and phone calls a day.
Oh my god.
I would wake up
Close
to
those
10 or 20
curtains!
texts
Oh,
every
I'm so
morning.
mad.
I then decided just to change my number altogether.
And your curtains are
The
still
texting
open.
and calls stopped for a while. But sure enough,
That looks like it
it
has
started
lines.
happening again.
Oh my god, man.
I called my phone provider, asking if they ever gave out numbers at a user's request. And they said their policy stated that they wouldn't and couldn't unless a valid identification was provided. Then one day, I tried logging onto my Facebook, but was somehow denied.
Oh no.
Within a day, friends started contacting me, asking me what the hell I was doing,
Oh no.
saying that they were getting terrible messages from my account.
Oh
In
shit.
particular, one of my girlfriends was receiving messages about her mom who had died years ago. I apologized profusely and told people what was going on. I contacted Facebook and explained the situation, and they helped me access my account again, at which point I had it deactivated for a while.
Mm.
Enough was enough at this point.
Yeah, it's
I
too much.
decided to contact the FBI,
It's too much.
explaining what had been going on for over a month now. They documented everything, but told me that since I or any of my friends and relatives were in no immediate danger, they probably wouldn't be able to do anything at
What?
all.
Yeah, but this is...
At this point, I felt stuck. I thought about hiring a private investigator or a hacker. I decided against it, however, and just hoped it would fade out if I
won't.
never answered.
It won't.
I left my Facebook deactivated
Close those
and
curtains.
continued to ignore any texts and phone calls I received. I never had any trouble at home, but some of my
Yeah, but
closest
can't you block it
friends
though? If it's
received
like
the
a-
occasional text as well, which freaked us all out. I hated that they got dragged into it too.
Yeah, because now you feel it's your
One day,
fault.
I came home, and things felt very eerie.
Your door's open.
Door unlocked, windows open, and no one home. A strong breeze running through the apartment. I did a check of the place and
How
found
do you-
nothing else weird, so I locked everything up and just waited for my roommates to get home.
That's it?
It's been almost 7 months now.
Wow.
The calls and texts have more or less stopped. I'll get an occasional text, but at most one every 2 weeks. At the peak of it, I was receiving almost 100 texts a day.
Oh my god.
It definitely affected my social and personal life.
Mm.
I became much more weary of the people around me and of my surroundings.
Yeah, because you never know who they are.
I just felt like I couldn't really focus on anything until this all stopped. Work was difficult, though I tried to maintain my composure as best I could. Everything was just weird. Life was weird. I've since stopped
that
using
curtain.
all forms of dating apps and websites. Things are getting back to normal at this point, and I just want to put it all behind me. I'm moving at the end of this year, so it'll be nice to have a fresh start in a new place. I'm not going to sit here and say that all dating apps are dangerous and that no one should use them, but definitely cover your bases. Ask more questions before meeting someone. FaceTime them first. Skype. Anything. I was naive about it, and I regret it. Be safe, stick close to your friends, and try to sometimes meet people in more traditional ways.
If you had a freaking curtain there, you wouldn't have to worry about that now, would you?
Let me preface this by saying that this story happened when I was a lot younger and less worldly wise about the creeps of the world.
How old were you?
Had I known what I know
No
now,
curtains again.
this story would have ended before it even began. This story begins when I, a 16-year-old girl, got bored one day and decided to download a version of the Tinder app. After a couple of swipes, a guy's face popped up, and what intrigued me was that he didn't have his name in his profile.
A lot
Think
of things
MS
don't.
Park instead of Mark. Now, he didn't seem like a rapper, so I swiped right out of curiosity. We matched straight away and began talking.
Okay.
Just your average run-of-the-mill conversation. What do you do for fun? Been to any parties recently? That kind of thing.
Okay.
After a bit of digging, It emerged that he went to the school at the bottom of my road.
Oh.
So we arranged to meet that weekend.
6.
At this point,
I thought it was
I
not dark
didn't
yet.
even know his name.
Yeah,
It
that's.
felt too awkward to ask it
Well,
after we'd been talking for all this time.
well, ask his name. I just see your name.
Saturday came, and Mark turns up about 20 minutes
Mark?
late. He's
Sus.
carrying a rose, presumably to make up for the fact that he's only around 5'2", which had been cleverly omitted in the photos he posted. I'm not usually into short guys, but I humored him, and we went and sat in a park in the town center to talk.
I mean, at least he's real.
We talked for about 2 hours about everything and nothing at all,
Okay.
until Mark asked me if he could be so bold as to kiss me. I was flattered, but declined. He persisted, saying that it was very important,
No.
until I lost my temper.
That's a red flag. That's a
and
red
asked him
flag.
why.
When they're persistent, it's a red
He
flag.
explained to me that he suffered from sex-based migraines,
Huh?
and if he was deprived of sexual contact for too long, he would get an excruciating headache that would render him immobile for 48 hours.
Is that real?
Although I was naive,
I don't think it's real.
I wasn't stupid enough to believe this nonsense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's not real, is it?
I
'Cause,
wanted to
like,
get home quickly
I
after
never
this
heard of
meeting
that before.
turned sour.
I mean, I don't know anything, so.
I leant over, gave him a quick peck on the cheek, and hurried away into the piercing parlor across the road, where the owners knew me and talked with me for an hour until I felt secure enough to get the bus home. I thought that this would be the end of the encounter, and traveled home calmly. Me and my mother have never had a strong relationship, and I didn't want to really talk to her about it. So when she asked about my day, I just brushed it off and said I had met a friend for lunch. After dinner, I went upstairs to my room and pulled out my phone.
Okay.
My stomach dropped.
You got a lot of messages?
There was a Snapchat notification from MS Sparks.
So? What's wrong with
My
that?
username must have been on the profile I set up on Tinder.
Oh.
How stupid of me, I think back now,
Yeah.
for I could have avoided a good many unsolicited dick pics otherwise. I gingerly opened it. It was a 10-second video of him lying on his bed at home, looking dazed and confused. The caption, "Look what you do to me." I realized that he was actually faking a migraine and filming it to send to me. I blocked the account and sat watching TV for a
Got a
while.
curtain.
No harm done, I thought.
Okay.
Wrong again. For
Stupid.
knowing where I went to school, and the fact that I have an unusually spelled first name, a friend request came in from Mark a couple of days later. I declined, but he just sent it again.
Yeah, but then just leave it. Don't
I was a
confirm or
little
delete it.
weirded
That's what I
out,
do. But like a lot of
But
the
he
links
seemed
don't
to
do
have
anything.
mutual friends with me, and from his profile,
M
I
Spark.
could learn more about him, i.e. how to avoid him. The messages started pouring in,
Hi.
starting with, "I really enjoyed today. Hope we can see each other again soon."
I mean, she's already
And
indicating she
ending
doesn't
with
want to
such
see it. Yeah.
gems as, "I need you, insert my name here." I laughed and just blocked him again. One day, as I was catching my bus to school, a familiar face smiled at me from the bus stop.
There it is.
It was Mark again,
Who's that?
this time with his friends. I wasn't suspicious, as my bus stop was opposite his school, and I vaguely knew one of his friends, so I smiled, talked, and made pleasantries until my bus came. This was to be the first of many encounters with Mark, all of which I brushed off as a coincidence, since he lived and went to school in the same part of town I
Like,
did.
he's probably saying, I think all episode will happen.
The last encounter I had with Mark was on my way to meet a friend. The week before, I had severely twisted my knee playing netball and was struggling to walk from my bus stop to where my friend with a car had arranged to meet me. As I turned around the corner, who should appear but Mark,
Of course.
smiling widely and greeting me with a wave. He asked what had happened to my leg.
He's probably
I told
gonna
him it
offer
had
to like
been a
carry you or
netball
something.
injury. He asked where I was going. I told him I was meeting my friend. He asked what time I was going to meet her, and at this point, I just said in about an hour. He said his house was right around the corner, and putting his hand firmly on my lower back, he offered that I could wait there with a cup of tea
I'm
until my
okay.
friend came.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I tried to protest, saying I would be fine waiting in a cafe,
Yeah.
but Mark insisted and half-guided, half-pushed me
No,
to his house.
that's no.
When we got in, I asked if I could use the bathroom, to which he said yes and showed me to. I texted my friend after locking myself in there, and said that a guy I vaguely knew had let me wait in his house and she could come pick me up from there.
Yeah, if you're alive.
I didn't tell her the whole story, as I didn't want to worry her and or have her phone my mother, with whom I would have met a worse fate than with Mark.
Yeah, you never know that.
Mark then knocks on the door,
Sus.
asking if I was okay.
I'm fine.
I said yes, but that I'd be a couple of minutes, and he agreed to wait downstairs for me. When I let myself out of the bathroom, I walked downstairs to find Mark lying motionless on the floor of the living room/kitchen. I panicked, thinking something had happened to him, and went to check his pulse. As I reached down, his hand shot out to feel my breast through my shirt.
Oh my god.
He weakly croaked out, "Need release."
Wait, what?
I batted his hand away and tried to stand up to get him a glass of water. "Need you," insert my name. "Feel me." His trousers, which I hadn't looked at until now, were unbuttoned, and he was stroking himself, eyes now open and locked on me. I freaked out. I ran up the stairs and struggled with the lock on the door, hearing his slow footsteps getting closer.
Oh my god, hurry up.
Just as I was opening the door, his voice called out from the other end of the corridor.
Hurry up, how do you not know how to open the door?
"Could you at least clean my oven then?" I whisked the door open and slammed it behind me, almost in tears at both the pain in my knee and the sheer weirdness of the situation. After limping a couple roads down from his house, I rang my friend and said there was nothing to worry about, but could she please hurry? She was right around the corner at this point, and we drove off, with me telling her everything in between shaky breaths. The weirdest thing about this whole story? A couple of days later, I ran into Mark again. He acted as if nothing had happened that day, offered me some gum, and then caught a bus from my bus stop. It was almost as if he didn't even remember anything from that day.
Yeah.
And I sure as hell wish I didn't. I haven't seen him around in some time, but that could just be because he's gone off to university.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually has some kind of like illness or something that makes him do that, but like from what, I never heard of that before.
I met Trent on Tinder in October of 2014.
Okay.
He seemed to be my type.
He looks sus.
Tall, slender,
mad.
the very definition of twink. It's hard to find many feminine gay guys in the boonies of Oklahoma.
Oh,
so
he's gay.
swiped
Okay,
right.
okay.
We started talking and set up a date. Everything was amazing for the first couple of months, until the end of the semester, when my roommates moved away. That was when he came to spend some time with me during winter break. When I started wanting to spend some more time with my family for Christmas, Trent decided to let me know that he couldn't go home because he had cut ties with his family. This was a huge red flag if I had ever seen one. But I decided to try and help him find a place to stay and break up with him.
I'm like, you're not staying with me.
I didn't want to make him homeless. By the time the break had ended, Trent had enrolled at my university and was staying across the hall from me. I knew that it would be awkward when I left him, but I wasn't prepared in the slightest for what was about to come. When the new semester began, he knocked on my door, complaining that he couldn't sleep in his own room for several reasons, the most frightening of which was that he was afraid that his roommates would kill him.
What?
I reassured him that those were just unreasonable thoughts, and sent him back to his room. Not an hour later, Trent comes back to me, threatening suicide. I take him to the hospital, with him sobbing about how I was going to break up with him the entire time. I never told him I was going to.
Oh.
The next morning, I got 30 phone calls. I changed my number and blocked him on all of the social
30 phone calls. 30.
Then he created a new Grindr account and finally coaxed me into meeting him for a conversation.
Again?
I ended up taking him back because even though he was medicated, he was still unstable.
Oh my god. Yo, don't just take
He
them back because
attempted
of that.
suicide after he was released from the hospital.
Oh my god.
I had moved off campus at that point. Fast forward about 3 months, and now he's moved off campus into an apartment he can't afford. I had been trying to get him the hell out of my house because he was essentially living with me, since he couldn't just stay at his new place on campus without attempting suicide.
Oh shoot.
At that point, I was in a marriage-like relationship with Trent, against my will, because I was afraid to be the cause of someone's suicide. One night, I decided that I just didn't care about Trent anymore.
Oh wow.
And broke up with him. This is where it gets dark. For an hour, we went around and around with me begging through my tears for him to not kill himself, and him essentially trying to force me out of his house so he could commit suicide. It came to him threatening to call the police to tell them that I was psychotic and threatening him within his own home. I left and called the police, and when they arrived, they found him attempting to blow up his entire apartment.
Oh my god.
When he got back, the true stalking began. I started receiving up to 50 calls in one day from numbers that would change.
Oh my
He
god.
was changing his number to bypass my call block. His attempts to get me to talk to him were just like before. He created several profiles under several different
Fake names, yeah.
on several social apps to contact me, leaving just enough information for me to deduce that it was him. His insistence that he wasn't going to hurt me crossed the threshold from creepy into almost threatening, like a come out wherever you are. The entire time he was trying to get me alone in a room with him.
Shit. Don't do
I
it.
abandoned my home and moved in with my aunt.
I don't know what to say to this. Like, it's crazy how
One night
persistent.
at 10:30 p.m., I received a call from the police department.
Why do you have no? Was it on
notifying
TV?
me that my apartment had been broken into, and that I was needed to check the apartment for missing possessions.
Oh my god.
He posed as me to get the locksmith to open my door. My drive back to my apartment was through one of the worst lightning storms I've ever seen.
Of course it was.
When I got there, I had a friend with me, and a baseball bat. I opened the door and noticed that things weren't missing. New things were there.
What's
Things
that say?
that I didn't own.
What is that?
I opened my bedroom door to find Trent's phone on the charger. My bed had been stripped of its sheets. Turning to the window, I saw Trent's clothes in a pile.
He's
That's when
naked?
the hairs on the back of my neck stood up.
Where is he?
I knew he was right behind me.
Oh no.
When I turned around, he was in my closet, hunched over and naked. He had a wild look in his eye,
That's
and
terrifying.
yet exited the closet in the calmest manner imaginable. It was like he was a zombie, pale with rings around his eyes,
Oh, it's terrifying
kept
as
hair and a
hell.
blank expression. I waved my bat,
Good thing you had the bat.
but he seemed prepared to die. He asked me to kill him. He tried to wrestle the bat away from me. He tried to prove that he legally lived in my apartment. He tried telling me that he'd given me HIV.
What?
I eventually got him into my living room and
Oh
got
my
him to get
god.
dressed before the cops arrived. He lunged at me and the police tackled him. So unfolded the most violent arrest I had ever witnessed. No amount of tasing subdued him. He screamed, "Police brutality! I just want to talk to Brian. Why won't you let me talk to Brian? Give me 5 minutes alone with him."
No.
The stalking continued after he
What?
posted bail.
Oh
The
my
next day, he
god.
knocked on my apartment door, posing as
Jesus.
the police. He found me in my class and chased me, eventually laying hands on me, running away when I pepper sprayed him, and tried to break into my house again.
Oh my
He was
god.
arrested again for trespassing. I got a protective order put out against him after he posted bail the second time.
Oh my god.
That didn't deter him. He
What?
continued his calls.
Are you serious?
I finished the semester and moved back home.
How
I
persistent can
began
you be?
reporting every incident of him violating that order, which were numerous. He left for LA because he thinks that the order is only valid in the state in which it was issued. If he comes back, or if he's arrested in California, I'll be taking him to court.
Wow. Honestly, this is definitely making me consider having a dating app. Not gonna lie, I knew it would, and I'm not surprised by any means that it is making me consider it. But you honestly have to watch the hell out because you honestly do not know who the hell you're meeting. Like I said. Again, like some guys, I would like to think that they're normal. Like they seem normal. I've obviously video called. Like one of them I video called for like 10 hours already. Not like in a row, but obviously like one I video called for a while. And stuff like that. But like you honestly never know who people are. Like they can seem crazy. They can seem nice, but then they're crazy. Like anybody could fake who they're being like. You know what I mean? It's honestly scary. It really is. Like you honestly just never know who anybody is, and that's the terrifying thing. You never know. Like I was kind of like, I don't know. And some people can be so persistent. Like that guy was super persistent. Like I did not expect that whatsoever. Like I thought it was to end a lot sooner than that. But the fact that it kept going for that long, like I'm actually amazed how long it kept going for. Like I'm actually crazed. Like wow, how long like he kept it up. Even though he went to jail, got bail, arrested again, went to jail. Like how does that even? And honestly, I feel really bad for him too because like the fact that like he has that's like the worst thing you can do to someone, threaten to kill yourself to make them stay with you. That's like the worst thing you can do. Don't do that. Like I would feel so bad if I was doing that to someone and that's the only reason they were still with me and stuff. Like I would not be able to handle that well. Like I would not do that. Like that's too much. That's way too much. Like do not do that to anybody. It's not worth it. Like don't do that. Like I get it if you're alone and stuff like that, and like if you want to commit suicide and stuff, like that's why there's helplines, you know what I mean? Like I'm not someone for you to like rest on because like you have depression or something. Like I'm not one to rest on that, you know. And then he said, "Oh, when I give you HIV, I'd be fucking pissed." Like I was like, "Are you serious?" Like assuming he's joking, but like hopefully he is, Jesus. But like you know what I mean? Like you just never know. So honestly, I have to say again, I'm on a dating app too, but so you gotta be careful. I don't care who you are, a girl, guy, old, young. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care who you are. Be careful because you never know what's gonna happen. Don't have your location on. Don't send your location to anybody. Don't meet up with anybody, especially for like a one-night hookup. Because although it can be tempting, trust me, I know it can be tempting sometimes, but don't do it. Like just try your best not to. And if you really want to meet them at some point, just say, like, I've had someone today, do you want to hang out sometime? I'm like, no. I didn't say that, but I was kind of like, COVID. I'm blaming it on COVID because obviously that is, like, the main concern at the moment. But also at the same time, you never know. Because you never know, like, if they'll know where you live. Because, of course, like, right now they don't know where you live, right? Some apps tell you the distance, how far you are from it. So, like, but it's not going to say which direction. It's not going to say, they have 2 kilometers that way, 2 kilometers this way. No. You know, just say 2 kilometers away or 5 million kilometers away. You know what I mean? But again, so I've blabbered for long enough now. But basically, just please be careful. I don't know how many of you guys have dating apps. Let me know if you do. And if you do, then I'm pretty sure. Like I had it and then I deleted it like a couple days later. But now I've had it for like since September now. Are the lights gonna fall? Yeah, they're starting to on. Yeah, it's about to fall, isn't it? Yeah, wouldn't fully fall, but. A bit of a fell. Anyway, just please be careful. Please be sure to subscribe if you're new. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to comment down below if you had any crazy experiences, any like crazy stalkers or anything like that, or any like dating app experiences. For me, I have not. I've just simply blocked people. That was the end of it, and that's all that happened. Again, for now, because like, but it sucks though because like you meet nice people and then like one stupid girl or guy can ruin it just like that by like it can ruin your whole dating app experience because it only takes that one to like cause so much shit, you know what I mean? So please be cautious. Please make sure the person is who they are. Please. Cannot stress that one enough. Oh, Lord. Okay, that's gonna be it for this video. Please be sure to subscribe. If you have any suggestions, please let me know on Instagram. Just PM me and I'll respond to you within a couple of hours. That's gonna be it. Peace out.